Hello everyone, my name is Uswatun Hasanah. Our presentation is about my fieldwork process report entitled Report on Fieldwork Processes in the Service Part at the Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja. Schedule and time fieldwork processes is implementation of fieldwork processes at the Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja by Praktik carried out for 1 month. Working days from February 3, 2020 to February 28, 2020. The implementation time determined by the company start from Monday to Friday on 8 o'clock to 16 o'clock WIB. Chapter 1 is Introduction. The background of fieldwork processes is an increasingly advanced development in the world of work is wrong. One driver of a company is choosing its human resource competence to be able to increase the achievement of the company. The place of fieldwork processes is Agensi NEM Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja, the address Jalan Raya Pelumpang Semper, number 10A, RTH, RW 2, Rawabadak Selatan, Koja, North Jakarta. Phone number 021-439-22081. And then website https://pajak.go.id. Chapter 2 is Overview plus Fieldwork Processes. Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja is work unit of the Director General of Taxation that carries a service in the field of taxation to the public, whether registered or not, within the scope of the working area of the Jakarta Koja Tax Director General and surrounding areas.
And then the next is Vision and Mission Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja. The vision is become the best institution for collecting state revenues to ensure state sovereignty and independence. And then the mission is guaranteeing the implementation of sovereign and independent state by collect receipt based on high voluntary tax compliance and fair enforcement, and then modern technology-based service for easy fulfillment of tax obligations, and then tax approach with integrity, competent, and professional. And then the final is competitive compensation based performance management system. The next is positionment, tax, and function of Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja. Position is Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja is a vertical agency of the Directorate General of Taxation which is under and responsible to the head of the regional office of the Directorate General of Tax of North Jakarta. The main task of Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja is to carry out counseling, service, and supervision of taxpayers. The functions is service as data collection, searching and processing, observing taxation potential, presenting tax information, and then calling in tax object and subject. And then the next is the organizational structure of the Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja. And then the head is general subsections, and then data and informational processing sections, and then service sections, billing sections, inspection sections, and then tax extensification sections, and then supervision and consultation sections 1, supervision and consultation section 2, and then supervision and consultation section 3, and then supervision and consultation section 4. And then the final is functional position gear.
Chapter 3 is Implementation of Fieldwork Processes, Field of Work. Praktik place in the service section. This placement is adjusted to the profile of party studies, namely office administration education. And in this field, practical doing tax including number 1, serve the annual tax return of the taxpayer online via filing or e-form ticket days Monday and Tuesday. Number 2, explain the work related to the application for extension of the annual tax return. Number 3, enter tax invoice letters, repayments, and registered certificates into the computer. Number 4, do the archiving on the letter that has been processed and put in the box. And number 5, folding the tax invoice letter, warning letter, and registered certificate on the pad in the envelope. And then number 6, receiving an incoming call at the tax service. And the next is work implementation. On the first day of work, Praktikan is directed by the head of the general section, Mr. Mawadyar Visoba, to the service section to meet with the head of service section, Mr. Johan Alvin Sarangi. And then Praktikan followed the briefing that was guided by Mr. Johan Alvin Sarangi, which included fieldwork processes students from various universities. The second job is to explain the work related to the application for extension of the annual tax return. Please note that taxpayers can extend the period of submission of annual tax return or delay the tax return no later than 2 months from the end of the annual tax return submission with the provision of not leaving and the annual tax return. In this case, Praktikan given the text explain about the extension of the SPT's mission period. The third word is inputting tax bills, warning letters, and registered certificates into the computer. It is the duty of the Service Department, one of which is input tax bills, requirements, and registered certificates into the computer. In this case, Praktikan assists employees in managing the print the tax return into Microsoft Excel. After that, Praktikan is asked to print the result of imputing the data into two copies, one for the receipt and one for billing the billing sections. The fourth job is to receive the complete letter in the process and put in the box. The step for filling letters at the Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja is Praktikan enter into the Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja receive room, and then Praktikan sort the letter that has been disposition, and then Praktikan indexing or providing letter codes to make it easier to store email, and then the Praktikan sort the spread letters according to the subject in question, and keep the letter in a special folder of Directory General of Taxes, and then the final, organize the receipt properly in the box. The fifth job is folding tax bills, repayment, and register certificate and putting in the envelope. The following is how to fold a tax collection letter, warning letter, and registered certificate that will be included in the envelope. The type section is neatly divided into three sections, and then the bottom third of sheet is folded forward, the upper third is folded back, and then the letters are put in the envelope. And then the last job is receiving an incoming call at the tax service. As for constraints experienced while carrying out field work processes including, instead of successfully reporting online tax smoothly, the reporter is often annoyed because the GP online is down or experiencing an error so that the tax reporter fails to report, causing the buildup of the reporter the next day and makes the practical work delay. And then there are still many people who grumble when paying tax. This makes practical must be really patient in serving tax reporters. This certainly hinders the practitioner in explaining the application for extension of the annual tax return. And the third obstacle is the number of double data when the practicant is entering data on tax bills, requirements, and registered certificate into Microsoft Excel. And then the fourth obstacle is when imputing, the archives is still mixed so that the assemblies must group the archives first. That is because the lack of archives in the then layout of the room that is less conducive to read, so often there are fields that are staged to table under the table. So this makes it difficult practice in managing records. And then the last obstacle is that there are obstacles in receiving incoming calls at the Kantor Pelayanan Pajak Pratama Jakarta Koja is due to noise that cause sound is not clear, missing color sound, and is because the telephone network is disrupted and then suddenly the connection was lost during the conversation. How to overcome these obstacles? The first, practically try to communicate with other employees, especially to the health of service section, Mr. Johan Evin Sarangi, if an error occurred in the internet connection on the GP online server, so that it can immediately find a solution. And then the second practicum is that with explaining relief offered by the government in a way that's not related to the extra portal. The third is practicum also apply accuracy in doing work, especially in reading and registering tax bills, letter of repairment, and registered certificate into Microsoft Excel. The fourth is to ask permission to fill for processes advisors to group files to be reserved by date and record to files so that when needed it becomes easier. And then finally, to be able to communicate effectively, it requires an understanding of how to communicate by telephone well and correctly. The conclusion of this presentation during the fieldwork processes, practicants gain a lot of experience and knowledge related to the office activities. While undergoing street vendors activities, practicants find some obstacles. But these constraints can be overcome by themselves or assisted by outside such as service station employees. Suggestion for agencies, it is expected that the agency can provide office operational facilities and infrastructure in good condition to be effective and efficient, because office operational facilities are a factor in employee success performance. And then for universities, it is expected that universities can establish good relationship with companies or government agencies in order to facilitate students in obtaining street vendors. Thank you.